Day 159. I don't even know what day it is right now. It's Tuesday night, I believe. It's around 1 to 2 a.m. in the morning. And if you're new to this is the journey of 0 to 1 billion. We have a very large goal on this channel, and we're basically doing the foundational work right now. So these videos are basically just monologues. I talk about what I do every single day to build my business. Today I want to touch on a few topics. So I want to talk about a business owner I met today. Or I met him yesterday, but we spoke today. And it was kind of like haunting me today. I want to talk about that. Two, I want to talk about a podcast that reaffirms what we're doing is right as far as M&A. So we're going 0 to 1 billion through M&A and LBOs. If you don't know what that is, and a lot of people, surprisingly, a lot of people don't know what that is. It's where you buy companies using leverage. It's really just that simple, guys. Like when people buy companies, they don't use all their own cash. It's like buying a house. It's a mortgage. You have 80% from the bank and then 20% down, but you don't even have to have the down payment. There's a lot of creative ways to do M&A, but it's very interesting. So I'll talk about that podcast, how it reaffirms what we had going on. And real quick today, I had work. I did a lot of cold calls, and I want to kind of delve into strategies on uh, different tactics that I did today that kind of worked. And four, I went to the library today, and I think I figured out a way to have a direct line to the owners, like a direct phone number to the owners. Um, Now, it's not going to work for every single lead that I have, but for example, if we're talking numbers right now, I probably did somewhere around 100 to 150 cold calls today, something like that. And I spoke with, I think, like 6 owners it was, or 7. And if you're new to this, right, we have a little countdown right here. It says 57 if you don't see it. But basically, we're trying to get this to 2,000, as in this is how many owners I spoke to and I actually pitched the idea of selling their business. It's more than 57, but ever since I got this little tool right here, it's been 57. In reality, it's probably close to around like 300-ish. And the idea is if you speak with at least 2,000 owners, you're going to find your first deal. And finding a deal entails a lot of details. There's a lot of factors. For example, I want to buy a business that makes at least $500,000 in EBITDA, as in profit. EBITDA just stands for earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. That basically just means profit, right? So we need to buy a business that makes at least $500,000 in profit, maybe 400,000 in profit, and it needs to be a motivated seller, as in it needs to be priced correctly. I'm trying to maximum buy the business for like 3 times the earnings, as in if it makes $500,000 profit, we'll pay 3 times that. So we'll pay 1.5 million for this business, and the owner needs to be willing to carry a certain percentage of the equity, and that's what's going to help us get the down payment. And if you're confused by that, basically, a lot of banks secretly, a lot of people don't really try this, but banks will count the seller's equity as a down payment for the transaction. So if you're buying a house, go back to the mortgage example, you get 80% from the bank and you get 20% down and you buy the house, right? That's the way most people do it. And now transferring that analogy to buying a business, you get 80% from the bank and you get 20% from the owner. So you get 100% of the capital stack, and it kind of bridges the gap. But the key factor is that the owner needs to be willing to carry a certain amount. However you negotiate it, 20%, 10%, 30%, 40%, whatever you negotiate. And the bank needs to be willing to count that as the down payment. So you need to bring them a hot deal. The numbers need to look good. And I'd say most owners, like I'd say 90 to 95% of transactions, the owner hangs on to a certain amount of the equity. That's very standard whenever it comes to buying a business. That's why this model, man, is just unbelievably like untapped, man. It's very untapped. And I'm also realizing that me doing these cold calls, realizing how not easy it is to reach these owners, that barrier of entry just makes me fall in love with it, because like I know there's so many people that just give up at that point, and I'm just gonna keep pushing, man. I'm just gonna keep pushing. Another point I want to talk about today is the fact that like I turned 23 like a couple days ago, man, and it's kind of hitting me now, man. It really is. So a year from right now today, if I don't have my shit figured out, I'm gonna be 24 and still, not in the best sort of situation. Like that's not a good look, man. Yeah, like you need to start having results. Like I need to go harder. I don't know how to go any harder, man. I'll be honest. Like I have my job. Like I'm in a sales job. Like I have a normal life kind of job. I'm doing this as well, and I'm working out and I'm taking care of other shit, and I have personal life issues um, that doesn't necessarily help. But I know 100,000% that we are gonna fucking succeed on this channel. I know that deep in my heart. I know that, man. I know if I just keep fucking swinging at the plate, I'm eventually gonna score a home run. I'm getting better, man. I could see it. Like the progression is happening, and I'm actually starting to see that. If you watched a couple episodes ago, I said that every single person I've met that's in the private equity space that does M&A, they all sound the same. It's so crazy to me. Like they have the same exact like voice and the same structure and the way they pronounce their pronunciation, their diction is all very similar. And I'm starting to see that like that's happening to me a little bit. And it's just the best way to go about things, to be honest. For many reasons, like it's just more professional. Uh, People don't ask you to repeat yourself. I don't know. It's just easier. Like you sound like an owner. Like when I cold call, tell them, hey, like I'm a fellow owner in the area. Can I please speak to the owner in regards of a business opportunity? It's not exactly like that. Just kind of like off the top, off the cuff. Something like it's close, right? Just so you get an idea. You have to sound like an owner. You have to sound like you know what you're talking about and you're determined and confident. The way you speak is way more important than you realize. I spoke with one of my friends recently, and he told me that I think I already mentioned this in a previous video, but he told me, McDad, like you mentioned this to me before, and I can't believe it, but it's so true. I don't want to reveal too much about where he works, but basically he reaches out to these high level executives, and apparently it's a lot easier than you'd expect because not a lot of people shoot for the top dogs. Usually it's the people in the middle that get all the messages, right? So the reason why I'm saying that, why was I saying that? I lost my train of thought right there. Anyways. Yeah, I can't believe I just lost that point, man. Anyways, I do want to talk about the podcast real quick. And if you're new to this, you're still watching, go ahead and subscribe, man. Like, I don't think I've ever asked anyone to subscribe on this channel before, but you might as well. If you're watching till this point, it is free. But anyways, so so there's this really big solar company in my area, and I'm very much like in connections with the owners of the solar company. And it's a pretty big company. They do very big numbers. And the owner's pretty young, man. It's like very impressive story. And I met him again yesterday. And I kind of like walked up to him and I told him like, hey man, like I watched your podcast, and I was telling him what I was thinking about his podcast. And like I know his family members, like we kind of know of each other. And I don't even know if I should reveal this, but yeah, I'm not gonna reveal that. But anyways, he's a super cool guy. He gave me his number. He's like, let me know if you ever need anything, which is crazy. I was listening to his podcast today. He was talking about like really insane things, like, and it's really slept on. Like a lot of people don't even know who he is or anything like that. But as I'm driving around listening to this podcast, I literally see a car like right in front of me at a red light, and it had the logo for his company. As I'm listening to it, man, it's so crazy. Like, what are the odds? Like, it's just like, is that a sign for something? Like, I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know, man. It's pretty insane. Like, I don't know. Just like keep running into them. Like, I'm listening to this podcast and I don't know. I don't know what to think of that really. But something he said on the podcast that was interesting is that he was on like the Hall of Fame for Texas entrepreneurs or something like that. And he was like one of the inductees like back in like 2019 or something like that. And he was like one of like the top dogs at the this event, like the Texas Hall of Fame entrepreneurs. He was saying the top dogs were private equity people, so people that do exactly what I'm doing. And they like gave out a bunch of money and did scholarships for like a bunch of people. And it was like on the news, and he was talking about it. It's like, man, like the richest people always buy companies, man. I always see it. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna so this pod there's a separate podcast that I watched, right? Where it was about this guy who built a multi-billion-dollar company. I don't know what his net worth is necessarily, because I don't know how much of that company he built, how much he owns of that company he built. But he was saying like, yeah, man, like the only way you could grow like that is M&A and acquisitions. It's like really the only way.
I've been doing roughly about 500 acquisitions. I've done a lot of M&A. I love M&A. I love M&A as a way to create value for shareholders because I don't know of another way on a risk adjusted basis, on a certainty level, that is more likely to create massive shareholder value than doing sensible M&A. In order to understand how to create value, I have to understand how am I going to scale up the business. I only know how to create tremendous shareholder value by growing a business tremendously. That's how I know how to do it. And of course it's organic. And I've had very good organic growth. The companies I've led have been well-performing companies that have had good market share and growing market share. And we've taken customers away, we've taken business away from our competitors who aren't managed as well. But when you look at the numbers, the real growth has been through M&A, through acquisitions.
Like everyone that's really rich like does that. And it's a super misunderstood concept, man. It's really interesting. Because a lot of entrepreneurs are very intimidated by it and then they don't understand it and then they think like, okay, like that's not how you start. Like yeah, you start by getting clients, fulfilling and doing shipments, orders, whether you're in the product service or manufacturing industries, like you do it organically, right? But no, you don't grow fast through organic channels, like not as fast as M&A. But that podcast was very interesting to me because he there's different sides of private equity, guys. If you don't know anything about private equity, so there's like the middle market, which is anywhere between 5 million in EBITDA to 10 to 15 million in EBITDA. EBITDA is in profit, right? If the company makes 5 to 15 million in pure profit, then it's considered middle market. Or if it's under 10, like between 5 to 10, that's like lower middle market. Like like we're talking about people that think really big, like millions and millions of dollars kind of big, right? And then me, I'm in the lower middle market. So like those deals are actually harder to finance and the owners have less options to sell because there's less buyers. And I read a study that said that like that's not necessarily true, but it's very true from what I know and my experience. Anything under the 5 million EBITDA mark, really like I'd say like over two, there's still competition, but under five, like a lot of people wouldn't really look at them. But anyways, I could be wrong on that, but I know 5 to 10 is considered lower middle market, so lower than that is like really small. So, anyways, what I'm trying to say is this guy on this podcast, he doesn't even look at the middle markets. Like he's talking about like high markets, like 50 to 100 million in EBITDA kind of companies. Like he's talking about like big boy like stuff, like $1 billion companies. And what he said was super interesting because he's like, whenever we buy a company, we always want to integrate CRMs. We want to integrate HR and benefits, which is really like if you're doing high level things, you're not gonna think of like that stupid like small stuff. You know what I mean? But it's interesting to me because he was like, yeah, I always whenever you buy a company and it's always like a big mess and they have like multiple CRMs and they have multiple HR and health benefits and different company names doing all different stuff, it's a big mess. And he sees a lot of that in the middle markets. That's what he was saying. Like when these companies do a roll up as in you buy a bunch of small companies that are all similar, you put it in a portfolio, which increases the multiple value of your company. So it's hard to explain just off the cuff, man. But if you're buying a company for 3 times multiple and you buy multiple three, and you put it together, now it's not considered a middle market company. It's like 5 million EBITDA or whatever. Now you're not selling it for 3 times multiple. You're selling it for 6, 10, 15, 20. Like the numbers get crazy, but the multiple increases, right? So it's kind of like flipping companies in a way. But he's saying like these companies that do roll-ups, like they're all over the place and they're super messy. But it's good for me to know, like, if you have it all cognizant and it's all like streamlined and it's connected, it actually adds value to the company. Like I didn't even know that. So it's very interesting, man. But yeah, listening to the solar company owner, his podcast, listening to it, it's very interesting. Like the way he structures contracts and everything is very interesting. But like if I wasn't doing what I was doing, I think I would pursue starting a cybersecurity company. That's probably what I would try to do if I was gonna grow it like organically. Because you got to think of it in terms of like what does the world need right now? What's like there has to be a lot of demand and not enough supply, which is simply put, obviously, but I don't know. I think I see a lot of that in cybersecurity right now. Um, yeah, man. I talk about this kind of stuff every day. It's late, so.
This is Fairbatch.
Yeah. Hello. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good.
Yeah, my name is Mac. I'm actually the CEO of Morsi Medical. I was looking to speak to the business owner about a potential business opportunity. Can you help connect me?
Yes, speaking.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, so we're also in the home health space, and I wanted to talk to you about this business opportunity. We've taken a quick look at your business. I was wondering if you ever thought about selling your business.
No, thank you.
Gotcha, okay. No worries. Wish you best of luck.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Quick question. If you want to buy it, how much do you buy?
Yeah, good question. So we look at the profit of the company and we put a multiple on the earnings. As in, like, if you make, for example, $100,000 profit or $500,000 profit, anywhere under $1 million, they usually have the same kind of multiple. So we multiply it usually around 1.5 to 3.5 times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll pass it along.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, hello, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for asking. My name is Mac. I'm actually the CEO of Morsi Medical, and I was looking to speak with the business owner about a potential business opportunity. Can you help connect me?
I'm the owner.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, yeah. So we're also in the home health space, and we've taken a quick look at your business, and we're really interested. Just wanted to ask if you ever thought about selling your business.
No. Oh, not yet. Not yet.
Okay, but it sounds like you've thought of it, like maybe in the future.
Yeah, maybe in the future because, you know, I'm just 3 years and, 2 years is just basically like set up trying to get out there. So I don't really have, if I have to sell now, it won't be profitable for me because I don't have enough patience for me to ask for a good price.
I understand. Yeah, yeah. You need the leverage and the negotiation table. I understand.
Yeah.
I could tell you the Google reviews really help you, man. Um, that's one thing. Um, but
Okay.
but yeah, when would you consider it? Would you like me to call you back in a year's time or something like that?
Yeah, maybe in a year's time. Maybe in a year's time.
Got you. Yeah.
All
What's
right.
so when you say size, maybe give me an idea of size. You don't have to say numbers, but you're saying like you're a bit like too small, not enough patience, right? If that's what you're
Yeah,
saying. Yeah.
yeah, maybe 15, 20 patients.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure what the numbers look like on that, but we may be potentially interested. 3 years you've owned it since COVID. That sounds interesting. How's that been?
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I've owned it since COVID, but credentialing, getting contracts here and there, then, staffing issues. So it's this year that now we now have the staff. So all I need is to get patients to staff them and then build up my baseline. And then if I so decide to sell, okay, I know what I'm selling.
I see. I see. Okay. Well, if you ever consider it, maybe keep my number, and if you think you're big enough, whenever you're ready, basically, you could let me know and we could have a further conversation. We're out here in Dallas, Texas. We're a group of investors.
Oh, okay. All right. Awesome.
Yeah, my name is Mac, by the way. What was your name?
My name.
Uh, so also like 15 to 20 client census. That may be big enough, but it's up to you, obviously. If you want to have more negotiation power at the table, I understand. We could catch up in a year.
Yeah, because if I say okay, I want to sell now, what would interest you to buy?
Yeah,
Is it
good.
just the name?
Yeah,
Just the name, and because I do have the contracts, or what?
yeah, good question. So yeah, it's based off the numbers and how well operated it is, as well as like the mix. So when we look at the clients and where you get them from, we'd like to see like a mix of different ways of them paying and a mix of different ways of them coming in. So whether you get them through insurance or organically or online or referrals, we'd want it like the best kind of company from us to buy would have an array of different ways of getting customers, an array of different ways of getting paid by the customers. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So now I can tell you that most of my patients are all insurance patients.
Yeah. Now, is that like multiple different insurance companies that give you referrals, or is it just one? You know what I mean?
Multiple, multiple, multiple.
Yeah. So then it still counts like multiple. You know?
Yeah, I do have. I have all the insurance within my region, within this area. Like I have contracts with everyone, even with the state. I am working on getting contracts with the VA, and maybe some at one point this year I should get the VA contract. So it should be it should be good on those sides. So one thing that I'll be great that I want to do this year is advertisement, because I have all the contracts now and they are staff. There are people that are ready to work. So I have to advertise more aggressively to get more patients. So I know by December the numbers will be good in terms of how many patients we do have. So that at that point that I can say, okay, this is my weekly, this is what I make weekly. So if I'm selling those numbers to whoever is interested in buying.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you'd consider it in December then, at that point.
No, it's
Just
a
saying.
hypothetical thought. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just call
gotcha.
me. Yeah, you can just call me next year. We'll see. Because I have other options. I have other options within the healthcare that I'm trying to look into. And if you guys just want to invest, maybe I can start something from scratch. If you guys want to invest in it, there's hospice, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah, we're also in the hospice space. Yeah, home care, home health, and hospice.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Sounds like we could potentially work together in a year's time or something like that. I'll definitely follow up. And another thing, we like to typically stay around like the 1 million in revenue mark. Don't know if that's near where you're at or not. Maybe you're close. Maybe we'd consider it, but just for an idea and reference, I wouldn't want to waste your time or my time. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I'll let you know when I'm not yet close to that mark. I'm not yet close to that mark.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we'll talk in a year. But maybe, it's very easy to get to that point. So if I get to that point fast, then that's how we take off.
Absolutely. All right.
All right.
Appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's all in the way you speak, man. If you know how to speak well, you can get really, really far, man. You got to speak confidently. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I accomplished anything, but I'm just writing down this lead. I need to have a CRM at this point, man. It's a small business when the picture of their business is just their house. I know for sure it's not his house because 15 to 20 patients is... Unless he was lying to me, which very much can be the case. I ain't gonna lie. All right, on to the next.
First Prudential, this is Shay.
Hey Shay, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for asking. Yeah, my name is Mac. I'm actually the CEO of Morsi Medical, and I wanted to talk to the business owner about a potential business opportunity. Any way you could connect me right now?
He's actually not in the office right now. He hasn't come in yet. You
Sure.
want to give him your phone number and have him give you a call?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you said your name was Max.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's your number?
201-888-2013.
013. And you said this is for a business opportunity?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Anything in particular?
Personal business.
Personal business? Okay.
Yeah,
All right, I will pass the information along.
absolutely. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
In the healthcare, how may I help you?
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Mac. I'm the CEO of Morsi Medical. I was looking to speak with the business owner about a potential business opportunity. Can you connect me?
He's not available at the moment, but can I leave a message for him?
Yeah, this is in regards to personal business. It's a bit time sensitive, so if there's a way that he could speak to me, that'd be awesome. You want my number?
Give me 1 second. Could I have your name, sir?
Yeah, Mac.